You know how to do?
This one, yeah, I
No,
turned
no,
it.
no, 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 the phone.
Oh,
Oh, do I have to turn this on?
It's
No, it's already set.
49,51.
yeah. We're just falling in here.
You like this or?
Oh, Troy. Have they looked at it? What about Carrie?
What about Carrie's?
Carrie Richardson.
She's not going to be in here.
Oh,
She's
okay.
on YouTube and
Okay.
she's gonna be on the phone.
You have reached the top.
Please enter your PIN followed.
Yes, sir. Well, I got the live stream up right now. 8 people online there, and I just turned the phone on. We're just running a little slow. Give her another try. If you still can't get it, let me know. Okay.
Now I'm hearing you.
Okay, good. You got a copy of the agenda, right?
Yes, no, not yet. No, yes, you brought that into me.
Yes, I did.
Yes, it's right here. Could you make me another? Thank you.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's very, very weak though.
Well, we haven't started anything yet.
And I got my volume full on.
Okay, I wanted the top end too.
You got it, Tom?
I can hear something. Rattling papers.
Yeah, but I don't hear you talking.
You don't hear me?
No.
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm good now too.
Can you hear me, Lance?
Please enter your PIN followed.
Okay.
We're all hooked up.
Okay, everybody, sorry for the delay. It's good old technology. Okay, if everyone could please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We could please have a roll call for those attending. Okay. Tom McCabe,
Margaret Swan.
Lynn Hill,
Jerry Richardson.
and Lance.
Lance Mark,
Dale Brooks, you on?
I am here.
Excellent. Okay. Under new business, something I just got late this afternoon, and I've sent it to you as well, Dale. It was directed to me from the Department of Transportation. The New York State Department of Transportation is finalizing plans to perform maintenance work on New York 31 bridge deck over Falls Road Railroad in the town of Ridgeway, Orleans County, as part of our commitment to extend the useful life of bridges while minimizing delays to traveling public. This work will be performed in 2021 or 2022, depending on public safety need and contractor resource availability. This work will require a 6-week bridge closure with assigned detour directions for motorists to New York 63, 31A, and 98. Local traffic will be allowed access to the construction zone on both sides of the bridge. Pedestrians will not be allowed access to the bridge during construction. Both lanes of traffic will be open during the annual Orleans County 4-H Fair at the end of July. That's if we still have it. Okay, so I just want to let you know that that will be upcoming either this year or next year. And like I said, Dale, I forwarded it to you for your information.
Yeah, I got the same one.
Okay,
13.
okay, next. We have 4 water, you want to pass that over, please, for Lynn to take a look at? Oh, I hate these. I could take these plastic shields down because there's no cord, right?
Yes, for the time being, yes, we could put them over there.
I'm gonna get rid of this one at least. Because I hear myself too much. Okay, here's on Water District 10. It's a proposed final order for Water District 10. Once passed by the board, we have 10 days to file a copy with the Orleans County Clerk and Comptroller, just as we did with the resolution establishing the district. So you have a,
Sean,
yes, ma'am.
sorry, were we gonna do bills and minutes?
I skipped right over that, didn't I?
Sorry, yeah.
I am so sorry. Okay, put that on hold for right now. Let's go on back. I have a feeling you got a question, Carrie. Bills,
Nope, no question.
okay. You hear a motion then for accepting the bills?
I'll make a,
Second.
Who are you taking?
don't make a difference.
I'll take Lynn.
Lynn made the motion?
No, Tom did, and I seconded.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All right, Tom made it, Lynn seconded. Now we'll vote.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Opposed? Okay, so carried. Okay, next, minutes. These would be the December minutes. Any questions? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
That's Margaret. Second,
Second, Lynn.
Lynn seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. Now we'll go back to the final order on the Water District 10. Okay, this, like I said, or I had read, is the final order for Water District 10. It's got to go to the comptroller as well as the Orleans County Clerk so we can get the ball rolling more on Water District 10. It would be ideal if we can get this thing rolling quickly so that we could possibly get this thing going in the ground summertime rather than in the winter. So could I have a motion then to accept this work, this final order for Water District 10?
I'll,
Sean, I have a question on Water District 10, not on the order, but is it okay to bring it up now quick while we're talking about Water District 10?
Sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to check and see, I know that, we had, talked to Clarence. I didn't remember, and this could be, and I looked back at my notes, but I didn't see that I had written like the final. We are not going through Clarence, just going through our water
Correct,
system or not? Okay.
Correct.
I just wanted to, get that clarification. Thank you.
no problem. Could I have a motion, please? That's Tom. Second? Margaret? I thought we were at an auction. Margaret's going like this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. Next we have, and it was a resolution made by the planning board, but we may as well do the zoning board of appeals as well. I'll read the resolution that was sent to us by the planning board. Whereas the coronavirus has interfered with a required training requirement, resolved to recommend the town board to waive the required training requirement for 2020 and carry over any training that was done by members in 2020 to 2021. Those hours are not lost. Both boards are required yearly to complete 4 hours of training. And Lee's been real good about letting me know, contacting both chair people of both boards, and letting me know who is delinquent with hours and who has caught up with the hours, or some people have in excess of 4 hours per year. My recommendation for this for both boards, once again, because of coronavirus, they have not been meeting in person to complete their work hours. They have had some training on the computer, of which some people have followed through with. My recommendation would be the hours that people would have or have accumulated in 2020. Let's say Sean Pogue has got 6 hours in already for 2020, and Tom McCabe has 1 hour. I almost said 0, yes. So anyways, what I'm looking at here is that therefore for 2021, Sean Pogue's 6 hours would get carried over to 2021, and Tom's 1 hour would get carried over to 2021. Therefore, the hours or the training they have done will not be lost. And that would satisfy their 21 requirements or portion of their requirement. But they will still be, like with Tom, with only 1 hour out of 4 hours, he would still be required to get those next 3 hours of training in. So that's what I would like to do for the two planning boards. Any discussion on this?
That requirement is a local requirement. It's not a state requirement,
State,
but we can make a resolution and
Yeah.
under the circumstances, or
under the COVID circumstances, we can do that, yes. We can modify. Okay, do I have a motion then?
I'll make a motion to do this. Have it carry, anything to carry over, and then in 2020, they complete the number of hours.
21.
For 21.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second
Lynn second. All in favor?
it. Aye.
Carrie?
aye, sorry.
Okay. Opposed? So carried. Okay, next on the agenda is the 284. Every year we get this, Dale gives it to us. It's something we have to go through. Carrie, you're not here, so you're gonna have to connect with Maureen so you can sign this document if we go ahead and pass it, which I don't see why not. We pass it every year. Resolution says pursuant to the provisions of section 284 of the highway law to allow superintendent of highways Dale Brooks of the town of Berry, Orleans County, New York, and the undersigned members of the town board shall agree that money levied and collected in the town for the repair and improvement of highways and received from the state for state aid for the repair and improvement of highways shall be expended as follows. A preliminary assessment of needs has been completed for the town of Berry for the repair and improvement of highways. As funding has not been approved from the state of New York, it is intangible to list the locations and types of repairs and improvements of highways. As funding is approved by the state of New York, the superintendent of highways, Dale Brooks, will update the list of improvements, which is what we get for our board meeting every month. Dale informs us of what has been improved, repaired, replaced. And as I said, we do this every year at this time, so any questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to accept? I'm sorry?
Sorry. I just guess that, like, I know that we approved this last year and everything. I know, Dale, you do a good job and everything goes through well. I guess that, like, I know that it's not really as tangible to go through, but like, I know you have a list of like the equipment that we're going to be buying like 10 years out, and I know you have a list of like improvement, like things that you'd like to have improved. Could we maybe have that, like, even though it's not necessarily exactly what, or will that cause more problems?
I hate to put it into the 284 because then I'm bound to that.
You found?
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if it's like, that if you put it, like, what the regulations around is flexible, but it's not. So if you put it in there, that means that's what you're.
Yeah. It doesn't give me any flexibility at all. If I
Okay.
did that.
Okay. I wasn't sure on that, so I wanted to just check and see.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move that we accept it.
For a second?
I second it.
Tom and Lynn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, next. I did not put it on the agenda right there. I apologize. Dale,
Yes, sir.
I don't know how I missed it, but it is your, oh, I know why I didn't put it on there. Well, I should have. Everybody in front of you, either electronically or hard copy, you have the Town of Berry Water Administrative Authority Emergency Plan for water. Dale has been working on this and has compiled all the information. And the reason I didn't put it on here, other than to talk about it, was that I wanted you to take a look at it. And at next month, if we can approve this, and Dale, you got to send this to county, do you not?
I do.
Okay, so if you could take a look at it and see if there's any question. I forwarded it to you right directly from Dale, and I think it just said emergency plan or water plan. Do you remember how you titled it, Dale?
Emergency plan / water.
Sean, I think you may have forwarded his December report on accident.
Oh, okay.
I have a December report from you that was forwarded, but I'm not seeing a emergency plan.
Let me go back.
I didn't find it.
Report.
I got Dale's highway.
Oh, I see that, yeah.
Joan, are you sending it?
I am looking it up right now, if I can find it quick. Must be because, no. I can't find it right now. Have you got it handy right there, Dale?
Looking.
I'm looking
I
at,
got it.
okay, could you please send that out to all members, please?
I will attempt.
I appreciate that, sir.
Okay. You want to go on to something else? It might take me a minute.
Well, as I said, once you get it, I plan on putting this on for next month's board meeting for us to take a look at it. So please look it over. If you got any questions, jot them down in the border. And then we'll look at it and possibly, well, not possibly, we'll vote on it next month, either as is or maybe after talking with Dale about it with some changes, maybe. Maybe.
I may, I guess I'd like to suggest that the health department has already approved it.
Okay,
So there's really nothing in there that the board can change. But I don't know what they would change. You know? You already did your critiquing of your teacher now there.
go ahead. Well, they might have a few questions on something about it, like I did with that 10-inch pipe down Old 98.
Yeah, but there's nothing's gonna change, so.
No, nothing's going to change, but at least they, if they've got some questions.
It's not a matter of changing, we never get permission from the
But the board, okay, go ahead.
No more than a law, slow down, what do we found out about some duties?
I have no idea. I handed that all over to Joe. And Joe, because it seemed to be, we thought just the Google accounts, but it wasn't. Lee doesn't have a Google account, and she ended up getting it as well. Have no idea how they got a hold of it. I mean, with Margaret said that they had her cell phone number as well. Now, how that came about, we don't know. But that's why I requested this morning that everybody, you get that link, send it to Joe. Right. And because Joe then did the research on it so he could block that out altogether. I forwarded you to. So that's what he's done. I am discussing it with Joe, rather than you got the board members having Google accounts, which was set up because of your Chromebooks. It was the easiest way to set the Chromebooks so you have access to them. Joe is checking into the license procedure, and we will probably be setting up town like mine, spog@townofberryny.com. So that all board members will have that account, or that'll be your email address. So he's checking into the licensing procedure at this time. Okay. Now, next item on there, having to do with the responses to the wind public hearing. I have been sitting many hours doing responses to the majority of those at this time, but I have not been able to get through them all. Carrie, I understand you've been doing the same.
I have started. I have not. I have just barely started. I keep starting and then something comes up and I have to go away from it. So I haven't gotten very far into it. But if you have specific ones that you'd like me to respond to, I'd be more than happy instead of redoing the
Same
deal.
ones
But
that I
yes,
have done. We can talk about that. I was thinking that if we get those all put together at our workshop on February first Monday, right?
Right,
The first.
That's February 1st?
February 1st is the first Monday turnaround.
Yes, dear. Okay. Yeah, February 1st is the first Monday in February. So I was thinking we could possibly go through those. I just as soon us all go through them anyways, and not basically go through every one individually. Yes. I'm sorry? 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock on February 1st, yes. And we will have links so that we will be on YouTube as well as we'll have the phone again, just like we do for our board meeting, but this will be a workshop. So my proposal is that like with Carrie's responses, my response, we can sit down and we can, because once again, remember this had to do with the proposed wind law changes. And it was supposed to be specific to that, not a person's feelings on this, that, or the next thing. It was supposed to be just on wind law. So a lot of them, they're comments, and I respect those comments from those people, but it was not pertinent to what the purpose of hearing was. So a lot of that, and that I know I got a lot of complaints from people saying that I did not address their concerns at the public hearing, but as I said, concerns or feelings or perspectives was not relevant to what the purpose of that public hearing was. So it was all noted, and I have some comments down there for a number of them. Carrie has started on it as well, and on February 1st, we can go through them so that we have a package that we feel comfortable with, and then we'll put it on the website. And everything will be on the website with the comments. Okay? Carrie, does this sound fair?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I feel like it'll impact our next item on the agenda, but I'm good with all of that. I think that's fine.
Okay. So, last item on the agenda. And that is requesting that we send what our present package is to the Oh, I just got a text message saying that the planning board workshop, Lee, is February 1st at 6:30. I know she always sits back there listening in on us. That's the next planning board meeting is the 1st?
First Monday of the month.
I thought they were the second Monday.
I thought it was the 8th.
I thought they were the second Monday of the month too.
Yeah. First day there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
We're just gonna wait until Tom comes back.
Okay, we're going to set up a workshop to work on the energy storage system. And it came through with February 1, 2, and 3, and I forgot all about the workshop here. I was just in the process of sending the email to Tom and telling him that.
Can you both meet?
Well,
Ours is at 5 and theirs is until 6:30, right?
right. And usually our workshops, we try to hold to about an hour, 15 hour, 30 minutes, which means we would conclude in time for them to come in, the equipment will be all set up, and we just have to switch from town workshop, town board workshop to town planning board workshop on YouTube. But everything else will be connected, so we can do ours and then move right into theirs.
Okay.
Sound fair, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Lee. There we go. Okay, now, the last item on the agenda is moving this to our proposed wind law changes to the county planning board to see what they have to say and recommendations as well. Remember, none of this is set in stone as of yet. So therefore, going to the county planning board is to see what their recommendations will be.
But before we do that, could we possibly talk about the letter that we received from Gary Abraham?
We can talk about it, but that came in, remember, there was a deadline of the 14th, but out of respect, I do want to address that as well. And when I looked at some of the, I was surprised by what he had been saying. I don't have it in front of me right now because I feel that he was not correct in a couple of areas, but go ahead.
Okay. So I guess that I just wanted to go through and, did it get, I'm assuming that Lance also got a copy of this. I guess that I feel like I would, if you're feeling, your opinion is that that's not correct. You know, I don't know, it seems like he had pretty well documented his sources and what his thoughts were in regards to the SECRA full review process and the environmental assessment form. And so I didn't know what, you know, how we wanted to handle that. And then also there, you know, I mean, there's other stuff there too, but I figured we'd kind of maybe go through area by area. But I guess I would like to hear what Lance's thoughts are for the liability of the town.
Well, this is something I reviewed, and I reviewed it with Dwight Kanyuk as well. Also, I can't remember the name of the case, but there was an appellate division case from the 4th Department that this gentleman was involved in where they advanced a lot of the same arguments, and the appellate division said no, that they weren't correct. So, I mean, I know what he says. I know he's an anti-windmill zealot. And at this point, I'm assuming there's going to be an Article 78 proceeding brought at some point like he did before. I don't know that the outcome is going to be any different. So I'm not going to get into specific, you know, item by item at this point. But all I can tell you is that after we reviewed the letter and the case law established in this department, the 4th Department, we don't feel that he's correct.
Okay,
Okay. Okay, for like his specific for the noise protection should be uniform, like that aspect of things?
yeah. I think he's, once again, I think that's inaccurate as well. That is my opinion.
Okay. Okay, but I'm having a hard time with, because you're saying that it's your opinion, and he is that it's incorrect, and I'm looking at many footnotes with specific comments and including comments that were made to our town board from like John Hall, other Article 10 projects like the Cassadaga Wind Project, and yet we're going through and you're immediately like disregarding it without even having the opportunity to go through and like where, you know, normally I feel like you would be saying if this was from Heritage Wind, it would be.
Oh, don't go there. Do not
Well, I
go
mean,
there.
here's where I have a bit of a struggle with this, is that when we as a town board, at a town board workshop, decided that we were gonna have setbacks from property lines. And everyone was in agreement with that. We made those changes in our proposed wind ordinance at that point in time. At the following town board meeting, we received a letter through Lance from Heritage Wind saying that they could not do this project if the setbacks were from property lines, and that in order to do the project, they needed the setback to be from the structures. That it was too prohibitive to their project, and they didn't think that there was any issue with that. And after discussion at that town board meeting, everyone except for myself said, oh, okay, we'll go back and we'll change that back to from the structure. And
It's not correct. There are two different back requirements. One is from the structure, which is 2 times the tip height, and the other one is 1.5 times the tip height from the property line of a non-participating parcel. And that's what we clarified, because before, the language was not clear. Almost could be interpreted as saying that their turbines had to be set back a certain 1.5 times the tip height in a participant's parcel of property. And the intent was never to do that. The intent was simply to have it 1.5 times the tip height from the property line of a non-participating parcel. There are 2 different setback requirements.
I still think that that's not quite, I feel like if we go back, I feel like most of us are slightly off in our perspective of what occurred there. Because
That's exactly what occurred there. That is exactly what occurred. I think that the board probably has a pretty good recollection of that.
Okay, well, I'm sitting on the board and my recollection is different from that. And thankfully we do have these recorded, and so I will go back through and see if I can find, and if I'm in error, I will apologize. But I do believe that it was, we as a town board had agreed on something, and then it came through, and I believe you even made the comment, oh, Carrie will be happy about this, which is not what I was looking for. I would like to do what we can, do what we should to protect the residents of this community.
Okay. You go ahead and look that one up there, Carrie, and let us know what you find. But in my mind, what Lance said is what we had agreed upon. At this time, in looking over the remarks that we received from the public hearing, there was nothing to justify any changes insofar as any changes to the wind law other than, how do I want to word this? The remarks.
Changes in rewording.
Wording was one thing. It was like Carrie was talking about, like setbacks. There was nothing there for us to take a look at changing the setbacks based on what we have done insofar as research on our part as well. Yes, Mr. Abrams gave us quotes and everything else, which is a lot of documents that we had already looked at ourselves. So, and I appreciate that.
What about the email that I received from the director of the turbine down in Texas that said his recommendation was at least a half-mile setback any properties that are downwind of a turbine?
Well, I received that, I read that, but once again, the key word you used was recommendation. Does he have any documentation? That's once again his feeling, his recommendation. He as a person, yes, he's in academia, but he should have something published. Does he have anything published about this?
Okay, so what I can do is I can go back to him and ask him if he could share with us, because I don't think that I think what he's saying, he has no vested interest in either pushing this project forward or in stopping this project. And as a matter
Oh,
of
I
fact,
agree.
it probably would be more likely in his interest to push this project forward. However, I like to just dismiss his comments. When I brought it up before, the question was, Terry, can you get that in writing? Okay, of course. So I
You got it
emailed
right.
him and I got it in writing that that was his recommendation as someone who is the director of one individual turbine that is shorter than what we are allowing in our wind ordinance, and his recommendation from experience. So he is actually the only person in this nation that is a director of that turbine that has direct experience as
Carrie? We lost you, Carrie.
Am I too loud or?
No,
You
you're
guys hear
fine. It sounded like you accidentally hung up on us.
Okay, there was a weird thing that came on about my volume, so I didn't touch anything. So, but what I was sharing is that he is someone that is knowledgeable, and that, you know, you guys have said, well, get someone in the, like, it feels like, what do you need? We have World Health Organization. There's information from New York State Health Department, documented information saying that the setback should be more due to noise. I have a person who works and is in charge of a facility that is saying, yes, there are noise. If you want to avoid complaints, if you want to protect the residents of your community, you should have a setback of at least half a mile downwind of the turbine. We also have residents who put in their comment a map explaining how by having setbacks from property lines, how that will impact, even if it's 1.5 compared to 2, how that will impact residents and their ability to.
You're once again going on what people believe or think may happen, or, you know, once again, I have said from day one that what I want to see is research-based, peer-reviewed documentation. That's what I would like to see. And this not, especially from your gentleman down in Texas, we did not get that. We just got his suggestion of what should be done. We as a town also, because to assist us, we hire environmental engineers out of LaBella. We also hire lawyers out of Knopf Shaw who have dealt with projects like this. And they're not in the pockets of any wind company, but they are working their best to assist us. And basically, you're dismissing their knowledge.
They are saying that there should be setbacks. What we're having a difference of opinion, a difference on, is what those setbacks should be and where they should be from and how they should be applied. Whether it be to specific residents versus participants, landowners who have signed leases, there are differences in there. And, you know, I think that we can, I feel like we can get into the specifics and we can get into the mud, and that's why these are so complicated, is because there is research on both sides saying both things. So deciphering and going through and trying to figure out what's legitimate and what's not, you know, and that's where I think that when you have that information from both sides, and yet you have a director of a turbine facility saying, you should have setbacks at least a half mile distance downwind. He's not saying uniformly, he's saying downwind because that's where the noise is. That's where you end up having noise problems. I think that that's something that we should absolutely discuss and take into account, and not just say, you know what, there's no research on that, not to mention that there's only one turbine that's that tall in the entire nation. So yeah, he probably hasn't done a study on it because there's only one.
And manufacturer, things change from manufacturer to manufacturer. How long has that one been up compared to the Vestas ones that they're talking about right now coming into our town?
But here's the problem with that. The problem with that is that this is our wind ordinance. This isn't about this specific project.
Thank
So
you.
when we're talking
Thank
about
you.
our wind ordinance, we're talking about any of these. So it could be the one that he has down there.
Mm-hmm.
Why we should be thinking about our residents and thinking about protecting them. And that should be our bottom line.
It
And so
is.
we have a director from a university who has that tall of a turbine on his power, a 650 feet turbine, then that's what we should be using. Also, I do believe that one of the questions, and I have called, and I have not been able to get an answer from Vesta. I have called.
From who? Carrie.
Isn't this just going to Orleans County?
That's what I was gonna bring up next after she was done.
I don't know.
There you are.
Again. Sorry, I'm back again. I don't know why I keep doing that.
I'm not gonna speak if I can't, so.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I wasn't done, but the thing cut me off. That's okay, go ahead.
I'll wait.
So I was just gonna say that, we haven't, I have tried calling Vesta. I have tried calling companies to see what they recommend for their employees for PPE, equipment and things like that. I haven't been able to get through to them. They haven't returned any of my calls. So, I don't know if any of you have had better luck, but that's something that has been asked of our town board. And I think before we move forward or send it to the county, I think that there's more to be done. Also, I would love to see any of the changes that have been made before it's sent to county too.
You'd like to what?
You mentioned that there were changes that were made recently, typos, wording or something.
Yeah, just one or two words that were just changed and modified a little bit. I will send you a clean copy as well as a highlighted copy, so you can do a comparison, which we will be forwarding to the county planning board as well in the
So we
packet.
haven't voted on that.
I'm sorry?
We haven't voted to send it to county.
That's what we're doing right now.
So Lance, I guess if you want to share, and then also if you could share just for clarification, you don't believe that anything that he said about the secret requirements, type 1 versus unlisted, you don't believe any of that to be accurate for the requirements for this proposed wind ordinance?
Well, first of all, in terms of what he's stating, it really does not matter if it's an unlisted action or a type 1 action. The real, and the court has spoken to this as well, as long as the town has taken the requisite hard look, as they're required to do, it really doesn't make any difference whether you call it unlisted or type 1. And I've explored that too with North Shaw as well. And here's the thing, if you keep kicking this can down the road, I don't know what advantages the town's going to have from that. As far as, what the supervisor said, it's not etched in stone, but essentially it's required that this go to the county planning board. The county planning board is free to make their own recommendations, and then it comes back to the town. The town can look at it again, massage it again, argue back and forth again until it's in its final format to be voted upon.
But it's not quite that simple. I mean, like if the town sends it to county and county approves it and it comes back to the town, then we have to have, or if they say we have to make changes, if we choose to go against what the county says, it changes our voting structure.
If the county makes a recommendation that is basically not in accordance with the amended statute, or amended local law, yes, it would require a supermajority to approve it. 4 out of 5.
Okay, so it's not just like it may not have any impact, but it's not like it's not like it's no impact either. It is something that, is part of this process.
Well, that remains to be seen, right? I don't know what the county planning board is going to do.
Lance, we got all of our stuff that's necessary to send it to the county, right, to the planning board?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
And as you said, there's nothing, that get their opinion, positive or negative, you get it back there, so we keep changing, we can discuss it at that time. And it's like a track anyway, we're going to discuss it. So I'm in favor of sending it to them, and get the process started.
Here.
Can anyone on the town board tell me any documentation that a majority of this town wants us to make changes to our town ordinance?
We're talking about changing the town ordinances and improving in most case, better than what the state has required. So I think we are looking out for the safety and welfare of our community as well.
For you to please document for me why you think that these changes are, the majority of our community wants these changes in our wind ordinance.
All
I'm
we're trying,
a little confused. This is
Yeah.
Lance again. We had multiple workshops on this. We went over this language, and everybody who participated in those workshops, including Carrie, went along with those changes. So now, I don't know whether she's saying now she's not in agreement, but,
Lance, you know that's not true.
oh, I do know it's true.
Because there are changes, you're right, that I'm fine with. But as a whole, I am not comfortable with this entire package. And I have shared that with you. There are setback concerns, there are noise concerns, there are property value concerns that I do not believe are appropriately addressed in this wind ordinance. Now, there are other things that I do think are beneficial to our community, but on the majority, I think that that there's too many significant areas that are lacking in what we currently have. And I have expressed that this entire time. I have
think we should
not
vote.
changed my position
I wanna
on
vote.
that.
Well, you
I
have
wanna
your
vote.
vote, I guess. I mean, it's up to the town board.
Let's go.
Not up
Send
to
it.
me.
Jesus. we just-
Okay, I think, as I had said, and Lance has also stated, this is not set in stone. We're not voting to put this into stone at this time. It's just what we're looking for is an approval to send this to county to see what the county has to say on this as well. So I would like to move forward and have a motion to send this packet to county for their guidance on it as well, or their recommendation.
I'll make that motion.
Lynn made the motion. Do I hear a second? Tom second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I,
Okay.
Okay, I thought I heard an I the first time too, but maybe it was echo.
It might have been an
Just
echo
please
from
take-
Margaret right
Yeah,
there.
okay. I heard it come through here, so if you could just do the vote again.
Okay, Tom? Tom says yes. Margaret?
yes.
Carrie?
No.
Lynn?
Yes?
Aye.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so passed.
Jesus.
Okay, one other thing I got just before the meeting came through, and this is from Carmen O'Keefe on Heritage Wind transition to 94C. They just want to let us know that, and those of us that are on the list, party list, have received notification. They have put in their application for the 94C, and it is moving forward at this time. So the 94C transition, this project is formally transitioned from Article 10 to Section 94C today, January 13th. The transfer application and related documents will be available on the Office of Renewable Energy, ORS website, ors.newyork, that's ny.gov, ors.ny.gov. And the Heritage Wind
I
web,
just want to point out that my understanding is that now that application's been transferred and is deemed complete, they will come out with within 60 days, a conditional permit. After that, there's another 60-day period for the public to put in their comment, objections, applauds, whatever it's going to be. And at that point, after that 60 days, unless they find that there's a significant issue that needs to be litigated, they can issue a final permit at that point.
Okay. Now, everybody, I think it was in November that I sent out, I had received the format for 94C, and I sent it out to all board members at that time. So I would highly recommend, if you haven't read it, to take another look at it, because that'll be the process and the format that they will be following.
I would also like to just jump in here and say that although, Lance, you have also shared that the 94C is fully up and operational and that, you know, they're going to be moving through, right now, there's not even an office. It's one individual. He doesn't have anyone else. That the regulations haven't even been like fully established. So it's not quite as, you know, as clear as, I don't believe that it's quite that as clear as what you were just sharing.
Well, I mean, yes, the regulations have not been finalized, but the periods of time are in the statute. It's not in the regulations. So the statute has been enacted. It's in effect.
Okay, she also sent in this letter that intervenor funding, there'll be a new package of money available for the intervenor. I'd already submitted intervenor funding under the Article 10 for the work that has been done by Labella, Knopf Shaw, and Lance Mark. But under the 94C, there will be another round of intervenor funds available at that time. And according to this, the office will reserve at least 75% of the local agency account funds for potential awards to local agencies. Once Section 94C intervenor funds are awarded,